Welcome to the Dave Pamah Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Pamah.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Pamah Show. And with me, I have a guest who is a film producer based in LA, but soon to move to London with more than 25 years experience developing, casting, and producing film and television content. He's worked on films such as Clint Eastwood's Bridges of Madison County and TV shows such as Hell's Kitchen and America's Most Wanted, as well as Disney Channel and NBC Nightly News. He's also a passionate philanthropist, and what he'd like to talk about on my show is how film can be used as a powerful storytelling tool for social good. James Axiotis, welcome to the Dave Pamah Show.
Thank you, my friend. Pleasure to be here. Honored to be here.
Pleasure to have you, James. Pleasure to have you. I don't know we had such a post chat. But we really got to try and concise this story now, this great story that you had. I'm just going to let you tell your story, how you got involved with movies, and then how you now flip the screen and want to come to London and make the story about, you're a philanthropist, about yourself, because I know you've got a story to tell about yourself when you're 2 years old. So we'll keep you into suspense. Okay. Let's get the concise version because I've only got about 25 minutes.
I'll get right to it. So I was adopted from Greece in 1964. I didn't even know this story till I was much later in life. I was adopted by Greek Americans. Most people don't know from 1958 to 1965, Greece was any children that were deemed illegitimate, born out of the mothers were unmarried. My mother was illiterate, a housekeeper, keeping houses. She was probably 19, 20. So the government decided these women could not keep their kids. And so they basically shipped us out of the country, both for tax reasons. They didn't have to support the mothers. They didn't have to pay for the children. They didn't want these kids growing up in their country. So I find this all out at the age of 18. When I was 13 is the first time I was asked to do out here. There used to be a show called the ABC After School Special. And it was after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, kids would watch these movies about self-empowerment. Anyways, they asked my football team to be in this show, and it happened that the directors of this TV series were Greek, and they saw that on my helmet my last name was Greek. So then they said, you cannot just be an extra, now we're going to make you be an actor. And I was on set for 3 weeks, and the point was I didn't want to be an actor, but I just got the bug of like storytelling and being on set and doing these shows, and it was so exciting. So I even knew at 13, like, this is what I wanted to do. Fast forward to when I was 18, my father was very abusive, physically abusive, and this went on since from the time I was 10 to the time I was 18. We finally got huge.
Yeah, this wasn't your biological father, obviously.
This was not my biological father. He, incredibly abusive and physically abusive. So at 18, so imagine from the ages of like 9 or 10 till 18, he literally beat the hell out of me. And at 18, then we got into a fight where I finally fought him back. And once I stopped the fighting and I told him, like, we're not going to do this anymore, I demanded my adoption paper because I knew a story but didn't know everything. And then I start reading about this woman, Georgia Caracas, and I read about I remember telling my adopted mother, who is this woman? My mother said, it's not a woman, it was a girl. And your mother, unlike most mothers, showed up in court to say goodbye to you. And what I found out was after the hearing was over and they handed me to my adopted mother, my birth mother walked over and said, can I say goodbye to my son? She wanted to say a proper goodbye to me. Right. And that just ripped me. That I was like, wait a minute, this, illiterate girl who's cleaning houses, because by law they had to notify the mothers that they were, the children were being taken. And she decides, I can't stop it. I have no right to be there other than I'm his mother. I'm going to go to court to say goodbye. And then it became, as I worked my way up in production, I wasn't afforded the opportunity to go into college, but I worked my way up into production. I was a young producer at NBC by the time I was 23. I knew I wanted to tell her story. And it wasn't so much what I did, but it was two things that motivated me was and my daughters are all going to go to college. My youngest is going to be going to King's. My older one will be going to Oxford. So education was important to me, empowering young women. I've done that throughout my career when I've worked on shows and projects. But also, I knew I had to tell her my mother's story about showing up and making a change in people's lives, and that people are worth it. So as I worked in production and did very well in production and worked on TV shows, as you said, I started giving back and started getting involved with Children of War Foundation, where I just offered my production service as my company to say, we'll shoot videos of the stories that you're doing, because it was quite amazing. This last March, I had the opportunity to go to Ukraine. And I delivered $500,000 of medical.
What was that
medicine.
like out there, by the way? Just we won't sidetrack. We just want to know before.
I'll tell you, people are not prepared for what you see on TV and what's actually there is two different things. We had to wear bulletproof. You had to wear bulletproof vests. You had to wear a helmet.
Okay. Like the journalists.
And you have to have your phone in airplane mode. You have to everywhere you have to stay has to have a bunker, because your roads close at 10 o'clock at night. They open at 6 in the morning. Wow. So, and then I went into
total war zone.
It's a complete war zone, right? Yeah. So, but it afforded me that opportunity. And again, I'm not a medical doctor. I've never delivered medical goods. I bought bags on Amazon, and we loaded up. We had the donations to the hospitals, and we loaded all these bags up. We took inventory, and I just flew there. We had a ambulance, this voluntary service. These guys picked me up in Poland, took me into Lviv and Krakow, and I delivered. But the point was, again, is this narrative that I just felt from my birth mother to show up and do something, and not just yell at the TV and say people should do something or give something or be, I wanted to, so I've been to the Syrian border. I've been to Navajo Nation. I'm now most recently, I just got involved with a new organization called GeneCo, and they have a school in Nigeria, a girls' school. So for me, it's all about, kind of like you and I talked briefly about giving back and helping people out and taking something that you've been through. And you could change the paradigm. You can't change what happened to you or what happened in this case for my mother, but I can tell her story. I can be uplifting. I can be encouraging and do what I can do, whether it be domestically here in Los Angeles. I'm involved in many organizations, but the storytelling is, and now it's been 3 years. I've been back and forth to Greece, different writers, different DPs. It's been a whole process. We were going to do a short film. I was approached at Cannes Film Festival from a studio, and they wanted to now flesh this thing out to be a feature film. So it's a whole process. And my whole thing was, look, you're like, well, you're successful and you've done all this. I said, but I don't want to do anything to negate her story. What I do know about her is, this a young girl, what she went through, what 5,000 other mothers went through. Some of the mothers were lied to, so their babies died. Some of them were like me, where they were just put into an orphanage, and the mothers had no control. And I just think that's horrible, right? I just felt the story needed to be told, and not just like my story is so unique. There are other, not good stories as well.
Well, the thing is that this is what was going on in Greece, and with Turkey and Greece, and the kind of, this is what's happened. Well, I don't know. It's different. Obviously, every war is different, and the situation.
Every war is different.
But that's, the women and children's displaced, and this is what happens really. And
always that happens. And, as I've done more work with children of war, I find out that in all these crises and all these, whether it's a natural disaster, it's a war, it's a famine, the women and children suffer the most. I've been in these tents. I've been in the Syrian, they always suffer the most. I just recently did an article about there was an article a month ago in London about what happened. This thing went on in the 50s and 60s in London as well, where mothers out of wedlock their babies were taken away. So
that's not right.
It's I mean, I know the culture back then, they're like, we're illegitimate. These are kids out of wedlock. And so they felt for the good of the mothers of the kids to take them away. So it's just absolutely horrific. It wasn't just Greece. The problem with the situation in Greece is most people didn't know about this outside of Greece, right? So it's a story where when I talk, I've been coast to coast. I lived in Florida. I've lived in the Midwest. I lived here. Anywhere I go, when I go to a Greek church or talk to the priest, they all know the story. They all know about what happened. And by the time the late 50s, 60s, this really had nothing to do with the war as much as it just socially, the government decides we don't want to take care of the mothers, the single mothers. We certainly don't want these illegitimate kids growing up in our country. I wasn't even given a name or a number. I was just given a number. I was T60 book 36. I was completely humanized. So even my adoption papers, I didn't have a name. I was just called illegitimate son of Georgia Caracas. So it's quite remarkable just how that worked and what went on. So that's, until we can share that story and let people know that. And again, what Greece is still grappling with. There's a lot of us that want our citizen. I reestablished my citizenship, but there's a lot of people that want their citizenship, and they're trying to find any recollection of paperwork. And Greece is still kind of like, they don't want to kind of admit it happened. So that's, going on. So hopefully this movie will shed some light on this and get some relief for some of these other, when I say kids, I mean, we're all grown adults now, but, and a lot of our parents, I mean, I know my mother's been passed away. I've hired genealogists. I did the whole thing, and, she's gone. So yeah, it's definitely become a motivator for me, the way I've lived my life and the kind of projects I want to do. I really want to make sure yes, I worked on Hell's Kitchen. I did a bunch of fun shows and concert shows and, whatever. And that's all great. That's fine.
Yeah.
But as I gotten older, and I've been able to kind of cherry pick the projects I want to do, I've just recently, like next month in September, we're doing this with the UN. We're doing this short film about refugees. These are all women telling their stories from different various countries. It's just become a passion thing again for these displaced women, displaced children.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't a refugee, I was an orphan. I just connect to them. And I want to tell their story. So we'll be doing that. My company also funded a documentary, which we're doing with Riz Ahmed, that will come out next year. So there's a lot of good things I'm excited about. And just so it's a matter working in production, and then the philanthropy. I can't wait to move. I'll be in London soon. I'll be
Where do you know where you're going? Oh, Primrose Hill. That's literally where I lived and worked. My working life. I basically, it's about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes walk, and I used to do my hill training there when I was an athlete. Well, I was to keep fit as a firefighter as well. So I can tell you all about Primrose Hill, but it's only a small hill where you can see a bit of London.
No,
Regent's Park's just down the road. That's where I live. 2 minutes walk.
That park's amazing. In fact, I will be in a couple of weeks at the end of the month. I'm doing a BAFTA screening. Jimmy Akimbola, an actor, he's an actor producer. He did a documentary called Handle with Care. It's going to be on ITV in September. And I met him at Cannes Film Festival. I'm sponsoring a screening at BAFTA, the new BAFTA theater. My mother, I donated money to BAFTA because I love the education work they're doing for kids. And so I was able to get my mother's name on a chair in the brand new theater to honor her. So Jimmy's doing a screen. So I every chance I go to London. So I will be there. The 30th of this month.
Are you actually going to be living there, or?
I'll be. Well, we this is just
your time.
I'll move there officially next year, like April, May of next year.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
I'm there every month.
Meet for a coffee in Camden Market or something like that.
We have to. I would
just
love
down the road. Lots of choices of places there.
So many places.
Yeah. No, wow. Well, anyway, let's get back to your film. So, is this going to be like a documentary only film, or is it going to be kind of like more of a movie, or?
It will be. So we're going to do a short, like a 15-minute, short film,
right? Just
about the court hearing and what happened, and the studio, who I can't quite say who they are yet, but a larger studio said, look, we need to make an actual, not a documentary, a film about your story. So they want to do a full-length 90-minute, kind of like I don't know if you saw the movie Lion, which was a big film. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, about a kid who was adopted, who was raised in New Zealand or Australia, and his roots are in India. So they just felt this was a compelling story. So it's a matter, as I told you, it's fleshing out the script. Which story are we going to tell? And my whole thing is to make sure we get back to what happened at court, what happened with these women. This is 1964, which was a really horrible time in Greece financially, and I know some people say, "Oh, these are all war children," but by my 1960 on, that we had nothing to do with the war. This was all about just and I gone to Van Steed, who's a King's College professor. She was a consultant for my short. She's the foremost authority on this whole crisis that went on in Greece at that time. And she's written about this, and I've resourced her about this and asked her. And she said, no, James, you're by the time from 1959, 1960, they were just getting rid of you because it was more of an economic decision. It had nothing to do with the war. They just wanted you kids out. And it's a horrible plight on the country. I really feel as a father, I just feel for these mothers that these children were taken away so young and without any voice. And like I said, for me, the point was most mothers just didn't even show up in court. They had no right. They're like, why would I watch my child be taken from me? Right. Why would I watch another family take my kid? But the fact that she showed up, it just changed everything for me, the paradigm for me.
So I know you said, you've done all you've been here, seen it, done it with the films, and it's just like I've been here, seen it, done it with my own real life story, if you like, being an international athlete and obviously frontline firefighter in that area where you're going to move to and everything. But
sure.
What is it like working with, say, Clint Eastwood and doing Hell's Kitchen and and then all of a sudden you're doing these things,
I will tell you this. Everyone asked me, number one on Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay is one of the sweetest, nicest men I've ever met.
And by the way, he's one of his bars is at the end of Primrose Hill. It's not far.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you where it is in a minute. He's at the end of the road that I lived on.
He's just literally. I mean, at that one thing I learned, whether it's Clint Eastwood, I could just go down the line of these great high-level actors or actresses or singers I've worked with.
Yeah.
What I've learned, I've told this to my daughters, when you treat them normal, when you're not just, oh, how are you doing, Mr. Eastwood? And you're just treating them like just normal person. Hey, you wanted to get a drink? Let's split a sandwich. All of a sudden you could tell they relax because they realize, oh, this person doesn't think I'm, walk on water. They're just a normal person, and you not go fan crazy on them. And Clint Eastwood, again, I did the casting for Bridges of Madison County with him. We were in Iowa, and I remember we ordered lunch for one day, and they messed up his order, and he got something, I got something. So I said, hey, you want to split my sandwich? And he says, oh my gosh, look, we're like a couple of kids at lunchtime, sharing up. And you forget, like, this is Clint Eastwood, right? This
is just a normal person.
And you realize, he's having chips. He goes, hey, you want some of my soup? Here's a salad, and we're splitting our salad. And he's a normal guy. So I've realized with most performers, most singers, most people I've interacted with, when you really, really, at the end of the day, they are just people. I would say 90% of them just want to be treated as such. They're very professional. It's a crazy business. And social media has made it a little bit worse because people can right away post and say, I was at a restaurant, I saw that, Clint Eastwood or someone didn't do something or was rude or didn't tip somebody. So I think the pressure's on these people now that even when I was growing up, that wasn't the case. So shared a cocktail with Jack Nicholson in a bar years ago in Beverly Hills. Again, sweetest, nice. I was actually in his movie Bridges of Madison, Postman Always Rings Twice. That was in 1980. Again, one of the sweetest guys, just very normal, not all the whole Hollywood fanfare. So most of them are very, very normal people, very secluded, very sheltered. They don't know who to trust. They don't know who's going to go crazy for them. But when you treat them normal, they're very nice people.
And you'd notice different personalities with them. I mean, I come from a sporting, so I did sports, track and field really, but I got to know the big stars from when I was 12, 14 years old, so I've been around that all the time. So it is normal to me. That was my normal world of performance, as well as being in the fire service. So, the public are in awe when we do turn up and do something because they think our job is great and we've done a great service, which we do for a local community. But
hey, real quick, really, congratulations on the women's soccer, man. That was amazing. I was watching that. I'm a huge fan. The Lionesses, that was amazing. We watched. I get all the London papers. We watched all the news here. We stream it a day later, but that was unbelievable. What an amazing story. What an amazing victory for London. So that was awesome.
I mean, it's a landmark kind of sporting thing for a big. More reasons than just football being won in Wembley, because obviously with gender. And of course, football in America, women's football has been successful for a long, long time, and it's a long time coming in for women in
Right,
Europe,
absolutely.
not just UK.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely. I was so.
Being
It was. I
accepted
remember
now.
showing my girls. Oh my god, that was just amazing. And then you guys also, I know because I'm a big Eurovision. You guys get Eurovision
Oh,
this
we get
year.
Eurovision, yeah, and that's interesting.
So
Well, of course, because Ukraine won it, they can't have it there. So,
right,
yeah,
right.
so we've got it because our man came second, and
I'm hoping it's either. I hope it's. I heard it's either Manchester or
he,
Glasgow. There's 7 different cities they whittle down. I mean, I'm gonna go. I'll
yeah,
be there. I'm gonna go. We're going. I mean,
Manchester's a good place. It's got a good arena there.
Manchester will be amazing. Manchester will
Yeah,
be amazing. I
yeah,
was at it, and then I went out when I last time I was in London. I went out to Richmond because I know that's where they Ted Lasso, which is huge in America.
yeah,
Great little town. I mean, I mean, I cannot wait. I fell in love with it when I was there. I think 3 or 4 years ago, the first time I went out there, and I just fell in love with the country, man. The town. I love London.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
everything about it. I love the people, the production. You guys are sweeping everything for Emmys and movies and TV. Last year's, and I'm in the Television Academy and I'm in the Producers Guild. I'm on the board, but last year's Emmys, you guys pretty much swept everything. And only of the 4 major networks here, they only won 4 Emmys, and everything else was pretty much done in the UK. So you guys are the production value, the directing, the writing, the producing, the quality, and no one can rival what's going on out there. No one.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, it's
even
great
this, no,
because I
it's
mean,
I mean, the fact that what we're the short film we're doing for the UN, I'm going to have it colored. They said, "Oh, do you want to do this? You've done a lot, people in LA." I said, "No, no, I want to do all this in London. Everything's going to be
oh,
done out
okay,
there.
all right.
Yeah, it's much better quality."
Do you have connections out there? I mean,
Oh yeah, no,
yeah, yeah,
I look, I ran post production and went for studios and everything out here. I know editors and color people, and I could do films and do all that here. But I've also most recently been doing more of my projects and more smaller things in the UK just to
yeah,
start.
yeah.
Because again, I'm too old to be the new kid on the block. I'm just too.
Yeah,
I'm
there's no such thing as that, really, is there? Really, so
so yeah.
and
I
you,
kind of want it. So I've been jumping in. That's why I jumped in and became a BAFTA Academy Circle member because I wanted to be on the. I'm not in BAFTA yet, but I'm in the Producers Guild of Europe, BFI. I mean, and the people have been welcoming, have been so grateful to me, and they're kind of like, come on in, man. The water's fine, so to speak, and I'm really excited. The production, the studios are booked and packed for years, so I'm very, very excited. I mean, obviously for my girls going to school there, but then
yeah,
for
yeah,
work, and then just the hub for me to travel internationally when I'm doing any work for the UN, or if I do
yeah,
anything
yeah,
for Children of War
yeah,
Foundation, I'll be so close.
yeah. London's a good place for that as well, and
Great
certainly for
hub.
where. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I lived literally where you lived, where I want to go and live. So I know. Well, Euston Station's having a big revamp, but you've got St Pancras, and you can get to the airport
Yeah,
quite easily, and stuff like that. So, and of course,
absolutely.
you got the night, well, the entertainment world, if you like,
Oh,
not far from there, So, at Kensington and all the big,
all of it. Yes.
yeah,
And
so,
there's so much I still have to, that's why literally, probably every week, every month going up until next May, I'll be out there for some event or something because and then we'll finally get our place in February, March. We'll probably
all right,
get our flat. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
process. So yeah, no, very, very excited.
yeah. So, where do you see your career going now? I mean, obviously, like you said. I mean, you feel that it's moving to another stage because of age. I don't. I mean, as I say, I don't believe that, but because you can always go back and do the movies you wanted to do or the TV
Sure.
stuff. Clint Eastwood does. So,
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely. I was approached. I'm probably going to be doing. Actually, next summer I'll be doing a romantic comedy. I can't say the name of the title yet. We're looking for
yeah,
locking our director,
like a
but we're
TV
doing
or a film.
for film. We're going to do a
Okay, yeah,
romantic comedy, and then in Ireland we're supposed to do a horror film in
wow,
Ireland in the next fall. So
right,
yeah, I'll be doing films along with philanthropy, along with. So it's not just I don't want anyone to think I'll do my mother's story and then that will
yeah,
be
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
still going to doing stories, doing films, doing production is something I've been doing since I was 13. So I'm going to be a part of it one way or another. And then when I'm not doing that, then I'm going to either be out shooting productions and donating my services to different organizations around the world, helping these kids, helping education, women, girls,
yeah, yeah,
anywhere and everywhere. I'm not cherry picking countries. I'm excited to go to Nigeria, hopefully in November.
Yeah.
to go to this girls' school, and that's exciting. And just kind of live in both worlds, so to speak.
Yeah. No, excellent. That's great. So as I mentioned, you'd like to really talk about how film can be used as a powerful storytelling tool for social good. Could you elaborate more on that before you wind down in the next 5 minutes or so?
I think the last probably 5 years, whether the film's on climate change, whether there's a film on injustice or a historical piece about the war or something that happened, we as storytellers are almost tasked with going out and digging up and finding these stories, right? We have to, and then because we bring awareness, and I keep saying this, and I know it's the paradigm's changing with social media, where kids are watching stuff on their phones, and we got to embrace that. I did a show for Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
And I realized even that it was a show called 365 Days of Love, but it was about what people loved and their passions.
Yeah.
And the point was reaching this new generation, because, I'll be honest, my daughters may not go to movies or watch documentaries on, global warming or climate change or other injustices that happen. Not yet. But they will watch a video or share a short video on their phone if it's 90 second. Or, we still got to use social media and bring awareness where they say, hey, I didn't even know about this. I wasn't even aware of this. So we can lead stories that are not being told and make sure that future generations, that's kind of what I thought at my age, is legacy work, right? It's about what could I do to make sure that my kids and my grandchildren know about what's going on now, what we're with COVID, whether it's war, famine, whatever, you name it. The story needs to be told. They're not just going to learn it in school and history books. When they retain it, they'll remember it. When they get challenged or motivated to do something or change a career, it's because of a film or TV show. That's right, I've met so many people that say, oh, I saw this thing and I decided that's what I want to do. That's what I want to become. I want to get involved in that. And maybe it's a firefighter. Maybe it was, I've met some guys that were like, because of the 9/11 out here. And it was so like, I want to do that. I want to become an officer. I want to become a firefighter. Those people are amazing. And again, it was the optics of what they saw. And it was so powerful. And they said, and they made a career change, where they said, this is what I'm going to do. And so
it's like the old Rocky movies, isn't it, really?
Exactly.
That's quite inspiring. It got me outfitted in training. I was only 15, 14.
There's nothing wrong with telling story entertainment. It's a rom-com. It's there's nothing wrong with that. We don't always have to preach and preach and preach. Yeah. But when we can, I think we're kind of responsibly filmmakers should be thinking about not just fun, whatever movies, but also telling a narrative, telling a story. I'll end it with this. Miss Marvel just came out. It's the first Pakistani. It's about this family from Pakistan, and she's a superhero, the daughter. And I know my younger daughter, Georgia, has a friend of hers. He's from Pakistan. His parents are immigrants. They get together every Thursday night when it was on. They watched this show because it was finally representation of them. And in the show, they talked a lot about the historical facts that aren't taught in schools out here about the partition and what happened in India. So that through a narrative of storytelling, and yes, it's a superhero, movie, it's Marvel, but they really touched on some very great topics that a lot of people didn't even know about. So, good on Disney for that, for saying, I'm going to use this platform in a way and share some history that a lot of people didn't know about. So I think that's responsible storytelling. And I think that's what we all need to be doing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a good way to round up the the episode. And it's a really, really great, really having the inspiring. I mean, I've had actors on there, but to actually do something like this, to give back in such a way.
Yes.
I get people to just share their story and just kind of, zip back to what they're doing. It's a motivation speaker or a book they've written, but you actually really, really passionately want to just share stories out there and just spread the message, just generally, don't you? Really.
Well, again, I think that to be responsible as a filmmaker, to be a creator, you should really be hearing what's going on in society anywhere. And whether I'm doing short videos for Children of War, when I'm talking about what I did in Ukraine, until you're there, until I was there and you see the footage and you're in this town of Bucha, which is devastated, bodies on the ground, dogs running around,
that's right, exactly,
it's crazy. I mean, so until people can see that and understand that, it's like they don't know.
Yeah. It's like I forgot her name now. The actress, she does work for UUN. There's a few actors and actresses that does it. But the one that was married to Brad Pitt, I can't remember her name now.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like she's really, you know,
Yeah,
passionate
people.
about
I
it.
mean, you see when it strikes them, when something hits them. Jenna Chan's another one who's doing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there are actors that are coming on. I know Tom Holland and his brothers are doing a lot of nonprofit stuff and helping out with mental awareness and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're realizing we can use this platform obviously to entertain. I'm not saying that's bad, but to also use it for good and to encourage and uplift and be a support, because now more than ever people need that. That keeps us interconnected, and to tell stories. You know, I'm all about international stories where I can tell global stories, not just something here in Chicago or in America or in LA, but global stories. That's what's most important.
That's absolutely fantastic. Well, before we go, is there anything you'd like to share with our audience, or you know, find where they can get you and find out more about you?
My website, JPA Productions, everything I'm doing, social media, on everything on Linktree, the articles I posted, things I've written about, mostly all posted in London. That's all there. I'm on Instagram, just under my name, James P Axiotis. So yeah, I always love to meet from people. I'm also always encouraged, if someone wants to they can message me. I'm looking for interesting stories to tell and be something to be part of, to share people's stories as well. So that's always something I'm looking forward.
Yeah. Well, we'll certainly, when you're in London, we'll meet up in,
we have to get
a famous Camden hamburger or something. No, you might be a vegetarian. I shouldn't really say.
No. I'll do that, or a pub. Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of places I got to get to know and find out, because I don't know. So I definitely will find out.
Excellent, James. But James, thanks a lot for coming in and sharing everything that you do. I think it's really great.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled. I'm honored, my friend. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to meet you in person. The best of luck to you and your podcast. Yeah. Sounds amazing. I love the work you're doing.
Cheers. Thanks again, James.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Pamah Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.